morning everyone. In our previous video of the Tempest Act 2 Scene 1, we have discussed till lines 233, and in this video we'll be discussing from lines 234 till lines 270. So by the end of this video you will be able to learn the explanation of lines 234 till 270 and learn the references and literary devices of the lines 234 till 270. We have read that Sebastian says that he has no hope that Ferdinand is not drowned. Now let us read lines 234 till 248. Antonio, oh, out of that, no hope. What great hope have you? Now let us discuss the meanings, children. No hope. No hope for Ferdinand means a great hope for Sebastian. No hope that way is another way, so high a hope that even ambition cannot pierce a wink beyond, but doubt discovery there. Now children, let us see the meanings. Ambition here has been personified, right? Wink means least bit. Discovery means exploration. And grant with me means agree. Now children, let us see the explanation of the lines. So in reply to that, to Sebastian saying that he has no hope that Ferdinand is not drowned, in reply to that, Antonio says that if Sebastian has no hope of Ferdinand's safety, he may have hope of a different kind. That is the hope of winning the crown. No hope in the direction of Ferdinand means to Sebastian so high a hope that even ambition cannot aim at such a higher hope. It means it is such a hope that even ambition cannot look for a better position. So children, this is how it is personification. Will you grant me that Ferdinand is drowned? Now what is the meaning of grant with me? It means agree. So Antonio asks him if Sebastian agrees with him that Ferdinand is drowned. Sebastian, he is gone. So Sebastian replies that Ferdinand is gone and gone forever. Antonio, then tell me, who's the next heir of Naples? Antonio now looks with set eyes at Sebastian. He asks him to tell him who is the next heir to the king of Naples. Sebastian, Claribel. Sebastian replies that it is Claribel. Antonio, she that is the queen of Tunis, she that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life, she that from Naples can have no note unless the sun were post. Now let us discuss the meanings, children. Dwell means lives. 10 leagues means 30 miles. Note, information. Post, postman. So Antonio reminds Sebastian that Claribel, who is now the queen of Tunis, who lives 10 leagues beyond the point a man could arrive at by traveling all his life. He further says that Claribel can have no information from Naples unless the sun itself was her postman. The man in the moon too slow, till newborn chins be rough and razorable. Now children, let us see the meaning of this line. The man in the moon too slow. It means the man in the moon is too slow because of his age and burden. Newborn chins means infants. Be razorable means fit for a shave with a razor. Now children, it is hyperbole. Now what is hyperbole in this? The time required for a message to reach Tunis would be as much time as required for a baby's chin to grow a beard. Now children, this is an exaggeration. That is why it is hyperbole. Also, the man in the moon is a popular superstition. Once it was thought that in the moon there was a man with a lantern, a dog and a bush. So Antonio further says that the man on the moon is too slow on account of his age and burden, So he could not also give any information to Claribel. So Claribel can have no information from Naples till infants become old enough to have grown beards fit to be shaved. She that from whom we all were sea swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act, whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge. Children, let us see the meanings. Sea swallowed means shipwrecked. Cast means cast up or cast as actors. Destiny means fate. Prologue means introduction. And discharge means power to do. Here paradox has been used, which means two contradictory words are written together, which is prologue and past. Now prologue is the introduction or beginning, and past is related to what has happened earlier. So Antonio further says that it is Claribel because of whom they all are cast up by the sea, though some have been saved by the same destiny that cast them ashore. They are fated to perform an act for which past events have prepared the way, and what is to come lies with Sebastian and Antonio himself to perform. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Antonio says that in no hope of Ferdinand being alive, there are great hopes for Sebastian. That no hope means Sebastian on the way to glory so brilliantly that he himself couldn't even imagine it, no matter how ambitious he were. He asks Sebastian if he agrees that Ferdinand must have drowned. Sebastian replies that Ferdinand is dead. Antonio asks him to tell him that in that case, who's the next in line to inherit the kingdom of Naples? Sebastian replies that it's king's daughter Claribel. Antonio says that it's the same Claribel who's now the queen of Tunis, living at the edge of the world, out of reach of mail service. It takes a letter longer to reach her than it takes a baby boy to grow old enough to shave. He further says that Claribel, who was the cause of the shipwreck, which a few of them survived, she was destined to give them an opportunity that they were destined to act on. Let us now read lines 249 till 263. Sebastian, what stuff is this? Stuff? Nonsense. How say you? 'Tis true, my brother's daughter's queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space. Listen, what is the meaning of twixt which regions? Means between Tunis and Naples. Some space means a great distance. Now children, Sebastian pretends not to understand the meaning. He asks, what nonsense is Antonio speaking? What does he mean? Children, he cunningly tries to draw Antonio out. He says that it is true that his brother's daughter is the queen of Tunis, and as being his only child, that is after Ferdinand, is the heir to Naples. And he also admits that there is some distance between Naples and Tunis, and consequently there will be some delay in communicating between them. Antonio, a space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Claribel measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis and let Sebastian wake. Now children, what is the meaning of cubit? It means unit of length. Now children, cubit seems to cry out is personification. What is the meaning of measure? It means cover, travel. What is the meaning of Sebastian wake? It means wake up and secure your fortune. So Antonio too cunningly offers his hand and says that yes, the distance is huge and every cubit's length of the distance seems to cry out, how shall Claribel, no matter whether she is the heir of Naples, manage to pass over the cubits and return to Naples? That means she won't be able to return to Naples. He further says that every cubit will shout that let Claribel remain in Tunis and let Sebastian awake to the fortune which is waiting for him. Say this were death that now had seized them. Why? They were no worse than now they are. So children, let us see the meaning of this line. They were no worse than now they are. It means suppose they were dead and not asleep. There be that can rule Naples. Now this that refers to Sebastian. As will he that sleeps. He refers to Alonso. So now it is a hint to kill Alonso. Lords that can prate as amply and unnecessarily as this Gonzalo. Now children, what is the meaning of lords? Means courtiers. Prate, talk too much. Amply, plentifully. Unnecessarily, without a purpose. Now children, Antonio points out at Alonso and Gonzalo who are sleeping and says that suppose this were death and not sleep that has now caught them in its grip, as they would be no worse off than they are now. He says that death would be no worse to them than sleep, for it is the other side of sleep. Antonio then points out at Sebastian and says that there is he. Pointing out at Sebastian, he says that there is he who can rule Naples as efficiently as he. Now he points out at Alonso, who is asleep. He says, then there are those who talk too much as long as incoherently as this Gonzalo. I could myself make a chaff of as deep chat. Chaff, children, it's a kind of crow with a hoarse voice. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. This line, children, means I wish you could think like me. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me? The children, Antonio says that he himself can talk nonsensely like Gonzalo, but he'll do it wisely. He speaks out his mind now to Sebastian and wishes that Sebastian's views of things agreed with his own views. He exclaims that Sebastian can make a great use of this sleep of Alonso and others for his own advancement in life. He asks Sebastian if he understands him. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Sebastian asks Antonio what in the world is he talking about. He says that it is true that his brother's daughter is Queen of Tunis and heir of Naples, and it's true that those two places, that is Naples and Tunis, are far apart. Antonio says that so far that every foot of distance between them seems to shout, it's too far for Claribel to come back to Naples and let her stay in Tunis and give Sebastian a chance to rise. Antonio says that if these sleeping men were dead instead of sleeping, they would be no worse off than they are now. There are a lot of men who can rule Naples, giving reference to Sebastian. Just as well as this sleeping guy, giving reference to Alonso, here can. He says that there are a lot of men who babble nonsense as well as Gonzalo. He could do it himself. He wishes that Sebastian understood what he is saying and he would see how he is missing out on a great opportunity for himself. He further asks Sebastian if he is even understanding what he is saying. Let us now read lines 264 till 270. Sebastian, methinks I do. Methinks means I think. So Sebastian says that it seems that he does understand. So children, at last Sebastian gives up his show of not understanding Antonio. Antonio, and how does your content tender your own good fortune? Now children, what is the meaning of content? It means satisfaction. Tender means regard. So Antonio now asks him how his desires now regard his good fortune. He asks if Sebastian understands that his happiness now offers good fortune to him. Sebastian, I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero. Supplant means replace or subside. Sebastian says to Antonio that he does remember how he supplanted or he replaced his own brother Prospero. Antonio, true, and look how well my garments sit upon me, much fairer than before. The children, what is the meaning of the word fairer? It means having a better fit. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now children, what is the meaning of fellows? It means equals. Now they are my men. Men here refers to servants. So Antonio says that it is true that he did so. He tells Sebastian to look how well the royal robes sit upon him, making him look more handsome than he did when he was dressed only as a courtier. His brother's servants were then his equals, and now they are his servants. Sebastian, but for your conscience. The children, Sebastian speaks as if he still has a conscience left. He asks Antonio how his conscience feels, or if it feels uneasy. Let us now read the gist of the lines. Sebastian says that he thinks he does understand. Antonio asks if he is quite contented with the things as they are, or will he seize the opportunity of making his fortune. Sebastian says that he remembers Antonio took the throne from his brother Prospero. Antonio replies that he did and tells him to look how good he looks in his new role, much better than before. He says that his brother's servants used to be his equals and now they work for him. Sebastian asks Antonio about his guilty conscience. Now children, that is all for the day today. For your homework, you will do extracts 8 and 9 with pen on your workbook. Thank you.